Hey, what's going on, everyone? AngelKing47000 here with my very first PlayStation video. That's right. Angel King is starting up his own channel. Hope you guys enjoyed that little intro to the channel here, where we'll be showing you many different videos. And thank you for stopping by and coming to see the very first one, which is nothing other than the PS3 Minecraft City. Seeing how most of these videos are going to be on PS4 games, I figured why not start the very first one. And thank you guys again for coming in. This is a shout out to some of the moderators: Chronic Lone Wolf, Poon Handler here, Myth Ninja, Dalton. All thanks to them and many other people for helping me get this world together. Kind of like the PS4 Minecraft City that we have going on right now. This is the very first one that started it all, paying homage to PlayStation with the many buttons from the PlayStation as you twirl your way down from the respawn point, floating high in the sky, and where you'll be greeted by either myself or one of the many moderators, and they'll be here on the throne. Usually it'd be me. Sometimes I'd be away from the game, and but most of the time it'd be me saying, "Welcome, Minecraft Traveler. Are you a friend or foe?" And then they'd say, "Well, I'm a friend of Big El Paso." And then I'd say, "Okay, here's some rules. Don't smash anything, and don't touch what's not yours. And welcome to our Minecraft world." And then I'd look at them, and then look down at this lever here, and I'd flick it, and they'd be launched into the world, drop down many blocks below, and then they'd float up, and they could see where everyone has their own plot, kind of like what we're doing again on the PS4 world, but this one's on the PS3, where everyone builds their own home on their little plot. Kind of nice to see the Canadian American flag flying in the wind there, seeing how most of the people are either from Canada or the States, but we all come together and we all build our own version of a house, which actually looks kind of cool because some people build a castle. So as you can see, Big El Paso has his house on fire there. Chronic has like a temple theme with a moat going around. Poon Handler has a wooden cafe. But yeah, everyone has their own little different tastes and how they like to build stuff. And also together we also join into little mini games that we have, such as our great PvP area with the Kung Fu lads over here on the wall. But before getting into all those different mini games and fun events we have, I figured we'd take a closer look at some of these plots. For instance, this was the very first one to be made, the Angel King Watchtower, burnt horribly from the inside by an unfortunate incident with fire spread. But luckily, Poon Handler's wooden cafe here was not affected by that incident, and was a great place to actually have social gatherings and meet up with other players. And Myth Ninja had a really cool idea by making these floating islands with a great view from up here at the floating trees. Cool idea. And one of the other players, the Only A. Jones, built a castle here, and also actually helped us a lot in our survival world, where he was one of the 6 players to fight the Ender Dragon with us and get platinum in the game. But if you were a Minecraft player that doesn't like to fight dragons or fight each other, we actually tailored to that creative style of Minecraft playing with the pixel art gallery, guided by none other than Mega Man and Kirby. The pixel art gallery gave players a chance to express their creativity through pixel art. We have a sign here saying, "Welcome to our pixel art gallery. Please don't touch art." And we should listen so we don't get kicked. And look at the paintings that have been demonstrated here by many different players. The signs on the front of them would actually show the person that made it, the name of their painting, when they actually created it. For instance, this one here says link created by Chronic Lone Wolf, January 9th, 2014. And it actually gives some cool dates, like kind of like a history, because as you go further into the pixel art gallery, the dates get further apart, and you can see how people came here from time to time to draw many different things, like their favorite movie characters or video game characters, cartoons and animes. Samus Orion done by Dalton there, and R2D2 done by myself here on January 8th, 2014. And then you can see over here, it didn't pick up too much, but we always had frames up for other people to come here and explore, and if they wanted to make their own painting. But as you can see, there was only so many paintings that were put up. But the last one here, I believe, was done by Kratos, Myth Ninja, and he made that in June of 2014, which was pretty cool. And I always thought this centerpiece was actually pretty sweet. When you walked in, it looked like Pikachu was walking behind Ash, but then if you came from this side, it looked like Ash is going like, I choose you, Pikachu, with the Ash in front. But yeah, that was just another style of gaming. If you see the sign here, thank you for visiting, please come again. And yeah, and then if you didn't didn't want to do PvP and you didn't want to put a pixel art up on the wall, but you still wanted to compete in another fun little mini game, one of the more popular ones here on the server, and actually something that we have just recently completed on the PS4 server, is the Build Wars. On PS3 we're only able to have one size map, just one map size, so this was actually built on the edge of the map. So the one on the PS4 is much bigger, but this is the room that we had to work with, and this is the mini game that we made. The rules are here on the wall, but I'll go through them quickly. They have pretty much 20 by 20 plot and 20 minutes to build a random topic chosen, and there'll be 4 players that will play, and everyone else on the server would then vote for who had the best one. So the topic would be picked by taking a bow and an arrow out of the chest here, and one of the 4 players would shoot the topic target, and wherever the arrow had landed, that's the wool that would get broken, and behind it would say video game heroes, or it might say outer space or ancient Egypt. It could say many different topics, and that random topic would be the one to be played, and the 4 players again would have 20 minutes in their 20 by 20 zone to build the random topic chosen. This one, for instance, was the last game to be played on the PS3 server here, which was Amazing Mazes. So 20 minutes in a 20 by 20 square. The 4 competitors decided to go against each other for who could make the best maze. And the other players that didn't participate in building would be voting. So you yourself, if you've seen one that was active, you can go through the different zones and take a look. Like that was zone C, this would be zone D, and they'd all look different and have their own little unique styles of how they would make a maze. But we did it by zone letter just so that you didn't know who built in each area. So then that way you wouldn't just vote for your friend or vote for maybe the server host if you wanted to become a moderator somehow, I don't know. But for it to be an unbiased vote like that, we just did it so then that way the players would vote on which zone letter they liked the most, and then we would announce the winner at the very end. So right here they had the voting wall, and this is the separate entrance. And then for those that do like to play against other players and competitive battle, and also like that more edge of your seat thrill ride adventures of Minecraft and competitive play, the PvP area is definitely something that was interesting and fun to play in. Lots of players actually enjoyed the little mini games that we had going on in here. We had capture the flag, for instance, and this was obviously, I'm sure you guys would know, each team would start on one side and have their flag being defended there, and then going over, and the team that would have both wools on the pegs on the fence post would gather a point. But it was kind of neat. We didn't play too much in here, but the times that we did when it first built, to like test it out and to have fun with it, it did get a couple of laughs and some great results. The mob spawn arena was definitely fun. The only problem with it is that it was open roof, so we realized when we were playing with it a little bit that during the day you couldn't actually spawn anything, and for right now we're in creative mode, so there's nothing going to be able to be spawned in here too. So it's creative / peaceful mode right now. So but when it wasn't in that and it was in survival, you could flick the switches and the different monsters would pop out, and you'd get a kick out of watching someone try to fight off 10 zombies and 5 skeletons or some random combination of enemies. Oh, there's a sheep. PvP Coliseum. This is done by one of the moderators here, Myth Ninja. High five to him. He's definitely on top of his Coliseum-esque PvP areas. Definitely kudos to him for this. This is where we had grand battles, and we actually changed the floor plan a couple of times just to switch things up, but this is where people would have like 4-on-4 battles or 3-on-3 battles, or even myself, the king, would say, hey, you two have been bickering at each other enough, fight to the death, and then watch 2 people that might be arguing or disagreeing on the server fight each other as everyone cheers on. And then back here, didn't actually get much done with it other than the idea was there. This was the PvP Wall of Champions, and guarded by 2 dragon statues here. That was done by one of the players that we met, Unbound. he actually was really cool for building statues, and he actually taught me how to make that one. Sent me the link on YouTube. It was really great. But that Hall of Champions is supposed to be for PvP tournaments, but then everyone started going on PS4 and stuff, so kind of slowed down on the PS3 circuit. But this would be the hotel as well, because we realized after trial and error, having a PvP area is fun, but when you die, you usually spawn back in your bed, or if you didn't lie in a bed, back at the spawn up in the sky there on that platform. So we made a hotel, or I made a hotel to kind of save the problem, and players would sleep inside one of these beds here in one of the many rooms. There's 9, even though there can only fit 8 players, but for circumference reasons, to make everything even, there's 9 rooms. And you turn on the lamp to let people know that room was taken, and at least when you spawn back in, you weren't all the way on the other side of the map. You can actually be close to the action, and kind of nice to have that around. And also too, when on PS3, if you died, you lost your inventory, so you lose your sword and your armor. So we made this little PvP armory with many different dispensers and pressure plates that would activate and give you the certain items that you wanted. So if you wanted to dress up over here as one of the iron guys, you could jump onto the different armor. And I guess it just put my head on, but I got a helmet. I'm almost ready to go. Iron chest plate in my hand. But yeah, you go and restock on the items and weapons you might want before the next battle. Over there was armor, this side's weapons, and chest full of arrows there, because you can't put arrows in chests for the bow, or else you just shoot yourself, and that's silly. And then up here would be an enchantment table and stuff. And yeah, that was our PvP area. Again, on the edge of the map. It was kind of a downfall that we could only do it for one map size, but with PS4, obviously that's lifted. And on top of it too, we made this one in super flat, so it was easy to kind of lay the sidewalks down and make the plots and everything. But our PS4 world's actually not done in super flat, so a lot of the background you're about to see in our survival safari, which is pretty much just the wild, PvP and mobs are beyond this point. But everything you see here is actually painstakingly planted or placed. Every block of dirt to make a hill, every tree that was planted and uprooted up to the sky, that was all us. So on the PS4 world, it's actually a little bit of a pain to flatten everything out, but it pays in the long run to actually have that environment surrounding the plot and surrounding the city. Why, hello there. How dare you turn your back to the king? Get lost. Pile of bolts. Look at this iron golem. Hey, I like your tie, buddy. What's going on? Oh, he's cool. He didn't turn his back on me. Everyone, look at these chicken shit villagers, eh? They're all just hiding in their houses there. Oh, and then this, unfortunately, because again we're in super flat, we weren't able to build a subway station because you can only build 5 blocks down. So we made a monorail station, which was kind of cool, because again, if we went into survival mode to do PvP fights and stuff like that, you couldn't use the fly mod, so getting from one area to the other was kind of a challenge. So we made this monorail system which connects to a central hub, which we're about to approach here. And then that central hub actually links up to all 3 cities. So on the super flat world, we had 3 villages randomly spawn, and each village had a train station at it. And then we ended up making the train stations connect to the central hub. And Poonhander, thanks to him and some help from the Great Outdoors, he was able to make this really great looking rug. And always blew my mind how that one came together. Like a cool pattern. But yeah, great view from here, and we'll just fly because it's a little faster, I guess, but for the purpose of the tour. And this is the second city, and we did most of this server tour, world city tour, for mostly during the night. So I'm going to actually switch it to day for city 2, just so we can get a different atmosphere for the video. And voila, it's daytime. The magic of video editing. It is now 12 o'clock in the day. We're now looking outside, and oh, actually it's not 12 o'clock, it's like 8 o'clock. Anyway, whatever Minecraft time it is, we're having a blast. And this is our Minecraft City 2. Doesn't have the walls up or anything, but actually does have the plots where other people would build their little things. I ended up making this Five Guys because I used to work at a Five Guys, and I thought it'd be cool to make one in Minecraft. I don't know, I was bored, I was cutting potatoes, and I was thinking, why not make a Minecraft Five Guys. And maybe I just loved the food so much that I decided to pay homage to it. But either way, I made a Five Guys there, and other people made their own little places, whether it was a business or their own house, apartment complex. Everyone had their own cool idea of what they wanted to do with their plot, and it actually all kind of came together. For instance, this one here, Club Negative 69, brought to us by one of the moderators, Connor Wolf. He actually plays music on the mic all the time, so we actually get him the DJ. We sometimes dance in here. Well, I mostly dance in here, but sometimes other people join me, and I'll send pictures of me dancing, and then people are like, oh, he's dancing in the club. Good laughs, good times. And for the PvP aspect to this little Minecraft city, we had the dropper brought to us by, again, Myth Ninja, who ended up making another PvP-esque kind of area where he had, it's kind of like you destroy the blocks underneath your opponents, and then they would fall down to the next floor underneath them, and so on and so forth, until one didn't fall all the way to the bottom and was declared the winner. We didn't actually play too much of this. I was kind of like, I liked the idea, but it was just never got around to actually having a full, like, 8 people in there just fighting each other. It was pretty cool. But hopefully one day we might use it. And that Enderman statue always had something built onto it, no matter how many times I took it down. So I decided to make a statue art museum to kind of encourage people to maybe make their own statues inside instead of vandalizing other people's. But either way, it's kind of hard to maintain everything. But instead of a pixel art gallery, we ended up making a statue art museum here, where people would make different various statues, and like the paintings, they'd put their name on it to say, oh, I built the Incredible Hulk, or I built the Batman, and this is the date that I built it. Kind of give it some more artistic feel to the setting. And again, in competitive fashion, one that was very popular, the Wipeout Challenge, where people would go one at a time to face the different parkour challenges ahead of them to see if they can race against the clock to be the #1 person, the person with the fastest time, which I believe was owned by one of the moderators for a while, but I personally timed someone, and I couldn't believe it when I seen it. They crossed the finish line, the red lights went on, stone lamps went on, and they got 42 seconds, War Champ. Kind of crazy how he got that, but I was there, and his buddy Perez got 46, so close. But I never thought it could be done, but it was. And this right here is not just a hollow pyramid. Oh, no. This is actually on a certain point on the map where that lapis is, and if you follow the map and you get to this certain point on it, you'll be able to come to our little maze / pyramid with lots of little parkour challenges and adventure-esque kind of style. Oh, I thought he was going to shoot you, but it gave you an axe. My hand's invisible for the purpose of the video, but if you could see my hand, it'd have an axe in it. And you'd come in, you can get a good view of how big this thing is from the inside. And when you'd flick that switch back there, I'll show you the first little secret. Lots of people did fly past this switch behind the water. But once you flicked it there, oh, I got stuck in my own water. Kind of showing you the different secrets here. But if you didn't get stuck in the waterfall and you flicked that switch, the stairs would come up and you'd get to the next area, which was this little parkour jump over the lava pit. And let's see here. Oh no, I fell. And over here you'd see one of the dead ends. So you'd come down one of the hallways and be like, oh no, I went the wrong way, and you'd have to turn around and go through the maze again. Again, just showing you quickly, but I've watched many people try to attempt this, and some would fail and some would succeed, but try again was the key. And see, if you flick that switch, the floor comes in. So when you flick all those switches around the room, the floor comes in completely and you're able to cross. Another little puzzle / game to play while you're in here. And I'm not going to show you all of it because this tour would take forever, but this is a quick little peek inside the pyramid maze, which a lot of people actually enjoyed jumping in, especially in survival when some of those dispensers would shoot out not just items but zombies and other things like that. And moving on to the third city, we'll just fly there instead of taking the monorail system, but this was actually made as soon as they came out with the quartz texture and the block there. One of the moderators, Poon Handler, he is all over it and built this awesome looking Greek kind of style building. And inside, I know it's a little dark in here, but inside you have the different various gravestones. I could say Chronic died from explosive diarrhea and death by too big of a toke. And you could see that people would make fun of different ways I guess they could die and put their name, like they almost buried themselves. So it's a secret graveyard. And over here is the third city that was one of the last places to get started, but everyone kind of went with the idea of making it, like, instead of just houses and stuff like that, actually all office type buildings. Some of them you can go into, some of them you can't, but for those that you can go into, they're actually pretty cool on the inside. For instance, this is one that I made as my Angel King office building, and it had various different floors with libraries and staffing, seating areas, and then my main desk where I controlled the world, and was like, okay, so what do you want to build? You want to build a pyramid where? Oh my god, get out of my office. Or, you know what? I'll help you. Either way. Decisions like that would sometimes be made there, but often than not. And then as you walk down the streets, you can see it was kind of a different feel here. Again, they wouldn't have the big walls or the glass dome like they did in the first city, but they had different things like a pet hospital where you'd go inside, and if you had a dog or a cat or any animal that got sick, you could bring them here to the vet. And, oh, there's a sick puppy. I know, big guy, someone will come and help you eventually. If not, I bid you adieu. See you later, good friend. And yeah, we'll close the doors on the way out so Skipper doesn't jump outside or whatever his name is. And then yeah, looking at the little waterfall parking lot, and the, again, Poonhand there with another awesome build here, made this cool looking tower here, and you can walk inside and see the entrance, and there is spiral staircases that go all the way up to the top. But for the purpose of the video, I'm just going to fly up there because you get such an amazing view. And it's too bad that the PS4 took so many of the players, because again, once PS4 came out, a lot of people were playing on PS3, and then sometimes people were playing on PS4, and then eventually it just became all PS4, and not too many of us were left playing on PS3. But if this city expanded, you could see with this glass floor that Poon has put here, it would have looked awesome with a much bigger city underneath it. But even still, with the city that's there, it looks so spectacular. And definitely a nice place to kind of chit-chat with other players and say, hey, what should we do next? And what's on the menu today for what we need to do? And yeah. And last but not least, where we would definitely make those decisions that impacted the world significantly, this is the Moderator chambers. This is the Hall of the Moderators up in the clouds. And it was actually built on a makeshift cloud as well. This is where we would sit down, myself as the host and the many moderators, and say, okay, so we have somebody that's destroying people's glass windows. We must get to the bottom of it. All here? Everyone agree? Yes. Okay, let's do this. Or maybe Hunger Games. Actually, that was one of the last decisions that were made in here, is to start Hunger Games, because lots of people were asking for that. And we did have one started in the process, but not finished. But this was our PS3 world, and thank you all for coming and watching my first video. And for those of you that have a PS4, if you haven't done it yet, feel free to add me at AngelKing47000. We're always welcoming new players to our ever-growing world on the PS4, just like the one you just seen on the PS3, which is going to be bigger and better than ever with the new Build Wars that was just actually recently completed, as well as a PvP area. Lots of planning going on with myself and the moderators, as well as those playing in the community, giving us suggestions and improvements of how we can make things bigger and better than ever. And with the success of the build of Build Wars 2, here's a shout out to the first 5 winners on our PS3 world.